Hi there, this is IBM Watson Analytics. In this video we're going to have a look at the Explore module, which is the first of 4 modules within the tool. Exploration is primarily for interrogating and brainstorming underlying data as an initial step, so it might be data that you're not necessarily that familiar with at this stage. Start off by adding your data source. In our case we've got data from the German energy regulator BNetzA. And you can see when it gets loaded into IBM Watson, the data is of medium quality, which isn't ideal, but for the purposes of this video it's sufficient. So you can either double click here or click here to open up the data connection to your underlying file. Now, depending on your bandwidth, this may actually take some time, up to a couple of minutes to load. This time it's come back fairly quickly, and what it's first shown here is some suggestions from Watson about what to interrogate in your data. Now, this is part of the cognitive USP of the tool. So the actual suggestions are based on effectively semantic searches within the data itself to understand and propose some suggestions about what to report. You can also override it with your own question about the data in the same way you might type a search criteria into Google. We'll just stick in this case with this relationship here. Note that the underlying data is in German here. You can pre-process it into English, of course, beforehand. Doesn't create too much difficulties for us here to just leave it as it is. Along the bottom, first of all, some orientation. You'll see the individual field names within your file that you've imported. The main window is the suggested report that we've just chosen from the suggestions given by IBM Watson, and along the top are some other explorations you can look at as well. For now we're going to focus on this. To see what data, these 3 data items have been chosen, so basically maximum capacity, it's installed capacity of power plant in Germany, postcodes and installation dates. Not massively meaningful at the moment. Give you a clear idea what's in these fields. You can click on the data tray at the bottom here, and you can see some of the values for installed capacity here. This is effectively fuel type. In case of renewables, obviously the resource type, and so on. One other thing we can do is overwrite here with the English name, so plant type. Instead of editing the underlying file, you can do it here. So let's have a look closer here. Installation dates, let's get rid of that just now. So we've just got 2 items reported here, and let's flip it over to tree map, which are one of the better visualizations within Watson. Okay, it drops your postcode now. We're just actually reporting 1 item summed up. or averaged out over the entire data set. What we can do is add in our plant type that we just changed a minute ago. So drag and drop onto the grid. You start getting something which resembles credible information. So bearing in mind this is a file of German power plant installed capacities, it's showing here kern energy nuclear as 1.3 gigawatts or 1300 megawatts. Units are shown in the field name. That's obviously not a total, but it may be an average for the whole data set within Germany. So let's change that to some. Now you've got much more sensible data set sorted by size of installed capacity. Solar PV now the largest in Germany, the largest generation type, wind energy second, 35 gigawatts, hard coal 25, and so on. If you look at pumped storage, we've got 9.2 gigawatts, which looks a little high based on our knowledge, so you can actually drill down into that and interrogate a bit more. Let's look by Bundesland, and that breaks down 9.2 gigawatts into Bundesland. Now Österreich here is not a Bundesland in Germany, it's actually Austria. Luxembourg too shouldn't really be here, so that's probably what's causing the rather high value we're seeing. If we undo and go back to our previous screen, and then add in a filter on Bundesland. So at the moment we've got all selected. Some of the features are a little primitive already in the tool, so the hope is that IBM improve these over time, but manually selecting here the Bundesländer in Germany, ignoring the ones that are obviously outside the country. Depending on the bandwidth of your systems, may slow down a little bit. Okay, and Niedersachsen. So I probably want to unclick all. Done. Okay, so we've added a filter in there. Now if you look at pump storage, we're down to about 6 gigawatts. So these values we think are broadly in line with what the situation is right now in Germany. We've used the latest file from the latest set of power plant installed capacities in Germany from BNetzA. Bear in mind that there may be some retired units shown here, so you can also optionally maybe add in power plant status into the tree map, and you can see here in Betriebe would be the operational ones. And everything else is either retired or on mothballed for the time being. So that's basically one view. You can pin that to as a saved report effectively, and later on use it. Content is pinned, you'll see there. If you go back to welcome screen, later on in a subsequent video we'll look at assemble, and we can actually use that pinned view within this module and add it to a larger dashboard so that it's showing not just that report but several others to create a story effectively. So that's IBM Watson Analytics and Explore module.